Now, I think it's massively important for an organisations where they're now talking about disruption, they're talking about innovation, that you've got to understand, for me, what ITIL 4 actually is saying and what it's telling us, and not to. We've almost, I think, got to unlearn some of the things from ITIL 3. Is that a fair comment?
I think so. There's certainly a lot of goodness in ITIL 3, and that goodness will stay around for a while to come. So I do want to reassure your clients and learners that they've not wasted their investments in time and money over the last several years. At the same time, you're right, the world is changing, disruptions are coming. We need to broaden the horizon of service management practitioners. It's not just about the processes and adherence to process. It's more oriented towards delivering favorable outcomes for customers. In order to do that, we need to achieve a higher level of maturity in some cases. And ITIL 4 certainly has reflects a lot of this, especially when it comes to some of the good work that's been done in the academic space or the service science space or the service management science space, where they talk about, for example, service dominant logic as services are the vehicle by which value is created. Value is co-created, it's not delivered. We need to shift the language of service management. We need to, as an industry, understand that there are many different players in this ecosystem. Value needs to be for all these players. It's not just, we can't sit back and say, well, I've done my bit, and so I've created value. That is very, to be honest, that's very 80s thinking, if you will. And I'm a child of the 80s, I love the 80s, but that does not work in the modern IT world. We need to shift the language. We need to unlearn some of the ways we've been doing things. But equally, we need to understand where we have actually delivered value and what we can continue to keep doing.
Yeah, I've always thought that learn about whether it be ITIL or whether it be DevOps or whether it be Agile, learn about them, and then if you choose not to do something, you're doing that by actually taking a conscious decision. You're just not doing something because you're ignorant of it and you never even knew about it. I guess that's the proper way to do this. Now, what I want to do now is move on to the education side of things, and obviously we're about to launch through late winter into early spring of this year the ITIL Foundation. We've talked a lot about that. What will the ITIL Foundation now, the new and improved, bring to the individual?
Well, ITIL Foundation has always had an objective of teaching learners the basics of service management, and the syllabus reflects that. With ITIL 4, we've gone back to actually reviewing the syllabus that we had in ITIL V3 Foundation and understanding what worked and perhaps what didn't work. And by drilling down into that sort of data, we're able to say practitioners really respond well to this, and perhaps this is too onerous for them to learn, too difficult for them to grasp at a foundational level. What can we teach them instead that will bring them value? And a lot of work went into that syllabus design for ITIL 4 Foundation. And where through all the testing we've done, through all the feedback we've received and tweaks we've made, we're quite confident that the ITIL 4 syllabus and the learning gives practitioners, especially entry-level practitioners in service management, a very solid footing and grounding into the basic concepts of service management. They don't have to learn every single thing about ITIL. We have other levels of learning, other modules within the ITIL 4 certification scheme that will drill down into specific areas. But at a foundational level, it's about achieving, if you will, as a T-shaped individual, it's about giving that very high-level, broad view of what service management is, helping them understand their role within their service management organization and how they can help the organization create value for its customers.
Yeah, I think before somebody drills down into a specific role that they might have on a team or in a team, then that broad understanding, the T-shaped or even pie and comb-shaped individuals that people talk about now. I mean pie in the as in pi r squared, as opposed to the as opposed to the things that I like a little bit.
It's all right, Barry. It's almost lunchtime. I can see where you were going with it.
But so the next level, we're not expecting that until H2 of this year. The next level. What will that bring to people who have gone beyond and you know, maybe ITIL 3 experts or in partway down that ITIL 3 path now? What will the more advanced level of ITIL 4 learning, what will that bring to people?
So what we're doing with the next level of learning is to help practitioners understand how to apply some of the deeper level information within the context of their organization. So when we talk about create, deliver, and support services, what do practitioners need to understand and help and guide their service organization in creating, operating, and supporting services? High velocity IT, as the name suggests, would focus on what it means to be to manage services in an organization which operates in that sort of high velocity mode. So rather than focusing on deeper dives into specific practices, which was the V3 model, if you will, where you had deeper dives into the service lifecycle or processes and process interactions in the capability modules, what we're doing with the high levels of learning in ITIL 4 is to help practitioners understand how to apply, know how to apply all these various principles to be able to achieve an outcome. So again, we're moving the focus away from processes to the outcome for the service organization. We're also introducing a transition module for people who have achieved the ITIL expert designation or who have achieved 17 points in the ITIL V3 scheme. So those are people who are just about to take MALC or who have already passed the MALC exam and achieved the ITIL expert certification. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from taking MALC. It's a really good course. If there's a need for an individual to have that knowledge to do their job in 2019, they should be acquiring the skills they need to do their job. There's no reason to say I'm going to hold off for ITIL 4. But once you take that transition course, you will transition across into the managing professional designation, which is what people starting from scratch in the ITIL 4 scheme will achieve after completing foundation plus four modules at the next level. So we've tried to make that transition as smooth as possible for all the experts we have around the world, and we look forward to launching that in H2 as well.